I am in the feminine flow today. I just had a few client sessions and I'm personally working on being more in my feminine than masculine because that's where I tend to be. So I wanted to talk about the ego death that we have right before up leveling our message. And this is something that I'm kind of used to it now. I think it happens like every 3 or 4 months. We're always like fine tuning and tweaking our message. And, as our experience expands, as our knowledge increases, the more and more we work with people, the more we get clear on our message. And I say this even if you're a successful business owner and you're already fully booked and working with people, like we get more and more inspiration as we're working with people. And so full transparency, I was planning on launching this month and I've kind of like taken a little bit of a step back to just really reevaluate because I feel that there's like this new wisdom coming through to me. And I'm like, okay, there's a message coming through, but it hasn't birthed yet. And most of my clients know this. Whenever I'm talking about creating, I often use birthing analogies also because our womb space is also not just where we give birth to children, but also ideas and intuition. Speaking of which, I bought these beautiful flowers, like orange and yellow, sacral chakra. I got the sacral chakra crystals here. More of my feminine flow. So I just had a session with a client and we were talking about kind of this like identity crisis that we can have when we have multiple passions or we do more than one thing. And we're like, how can we really bring this all together in our message? And it was so much fun to just look at her, like she's a musician, but she also has a product-based business. And it was like, how can we bring this together and make this a really cohesive brand? And it was just honestly one of those sessions where it was like free flow creativity. I mean, we talked about visibility, we talked about codependency, relationships, and then we really got into the business stuff. So it was super fun. The other thing I wanted to, just checking back here. So here's the thing. Our message is always an extension of us. And that's why I don't like to use templates, these famous, like, I help da-da-da do da-da-da-da, even if they da-da-da-da, these statements are really great to articulate, what we do and who we serve. But I know that deeper than the messaging, there is the visibility, there are the energetics, and there is the embodiment. And I have worked with enough women over the past 7 years to know that it's not about finding the perfect words to craft your message, but it's more about how you express that message and the confidence and the conviction that you have. And that's also really huge for sales as well, because when you have that level of belief in your message and you're like on a mission to transform people's lives, whatever industry you're in, right? It's that level of confidence that is going to help the, soul aligned or potential client feel confident in investing with you. And so I just find that it's not so much about like, how do we package you up and put this into like a perfect template or like have the perfect brand story. It's like, how can we deepen into our message? And I shared this earlier on my Facebook, but I talked about being devoted to your message versus being committed to your business. Because when we feel committed, that's great, but sometimes we don't follow through with our commitments. Then we shame spiral. But when you can really anchor in on, this is my mission and I am devoted to helping this type of person, then you have that inner source of inspiration because you're connected to your mission. And it's not just like, oh, I'm committed to growing my business, I'm committed to growing my list. It's not about the like artificial numbers. It's devotion to your message and your mission. And then I talked about being, soul led creatively versus like fitting you into a box. So really knowing, I had a session on Monday with a client and we were saying, there's different ways to quote, quote, master your content creation, right? Some people like to pre-create their content. Personally, I have, a lot of repurposed and creative things at the Untamed HQ. But I find that my content that connects best with people is usually when I write it in the moment. And it's because I have that emotional, energetic connection to the message. And the third thing I talked about was being embodied versus just like regurgitating information. And this leads me back to full circle of when we're going through like an ego death or an up leveling in our message, we're learning new things, we're getting new downloads, and it's not fully embodied yet. Because it's one thing to read a book and then go and teach on that thing, which is fine, you're teaching the theory, but people don't connect through theory. People don't transform and learn through theory. They learn through story. And the only way for you to transmit, do we say that in English? Yeah, transmission, we say that. The only way we can transmit that message is through our lived experiences and our stories that we're telling, right? So these are kind of the topics that I have been talking about with my clients lately. And it's part of the reason why I pushed back a little bit my launch, because I had this new transition coming through, which I like to handwrite things, but I was writing it here and I was thinking about, I haven't started talking about it yet. You guys are getting the first peek of it, but energetics of fulfillment, energetics of success, and really cultivating inner emotional wealth. Now, this for me feels like new territory because a lot of people talk about financial wealth, material wealth. And that has, it has been a big part of my journey, but it's not my soul message. My soul message is deeper than that. It's about connecting to your vision, authenticity, play, really just being your most fully expressed self, which leads me into, I wanted to invite those of you, if you're watching this, I am taking on new clients for my 6-week Radically Visible and Fully Expressed mentorship. And I love the 6-week accelerator version because it's intense. It's an accelerator. We dive in. And one of the things my amazing client just told me was, Alina, shout out if you're watching, is she said, I'd spent a year working on my business and playing around with things. And in 6 weeks, I accomplished more than in the past 12 months. And I think that's really, the benefit of getting that mentorship, getting that creativity, getting that sounding board, getting someone such as myself who happens to be an expert, like this is really my zone of genius. So these things come easily to me, to hear your story, to know, okay, what's your greater message? How do we package up your gifts and talents into like beautiful soul offerings? Like this comes really easy to me. So I just thought that was such a beautiful testament because, I don't believe in the whole like scarcity. I really believe in consensual sales. But when it comes down to it, it's like, what is it costing you to not get the help? Right? I see so many people in conversations spinning their wheels, completely paralyzed by perfectionism or self-doubt or all the things. And it's like, what is it costing you to not just get the support, right? And if you think of like your next level self, like your queen, your goddess self, who's running this empire, this business, this soul-led business, like your highest version of yourself loves being supported, right? And that's something that I've had to transition into in my own messaging, which is why I'm, talking about this ego death, because up until recently, maybe not recent, I'd say in the fall, I really shifted my message, and I did not want to call in people who are stuck in their victim story. That's what was happening to me before, is that I was calling in people who were stuck in their victim story and they weren't yet ready for their victory story. And so that's fine, like that we all are on a journey, right? But it wasn't in my zone of genius because I had evolved to a certain point where I couldn't help people at that level anymore. So alas, I'm up leveling my own message again. So if this is calling to you and you want that creative support, that intuition, really honing in on who am I speaking to? What do I want to share with the world? How do I speak my truth? How do I navigate these visibility fears coming up? Then let me know. Reach out to me. The link is already in the comments for my 6-week accelerator, which the price is increasing on April 20th. So right now, if you sign up, you can save, I think it's $300. It's time. I'm calling in the next level woman who's just ready to completely take off, soar, and amplify her impact and her message. So if this is calling to you, reach out to me, let me know, or you can sign up. So there's a pay in full, which I think it's $1,400. There's a 2-part payment plan. Sorry, it's not $1,400. Oh my goodness. It's $1,200. Right now it's only $1,200. Okay, this is really affordable. It's $1,200, 2 payments of $650, or if you reach out to me and need a 3-part payment plan, I can set that up with you. If you have questions, let me know. This is the ticket to your next level, up level. So reach out to me. All right, bisous from Paris. Ciao.